Hey everyone, I wanted to speed run a quick video. Someone sent me some questions this evening, and as you know, if you send me questions, I will probably do a video within a matter of minutes or a matter of hours to answer those exact questions. So they said, first, is it an investment vehicle or is it a currency, and can it be both? The answer is right now it is both. Long-term, Bitcoin will be less of an investment and more of a currency. So when it initially started, it was entirely an investment and not really a currency. And maybe it's now, 90% investment and 10% currency. But over time, it will become more and more of a currency and less of an investment until ultimately it evens out where the value of Bitcoin increases by 2% or 3% per year to infinity, because that's human productivity growth. But until then, there's a huge amount of investment upside, and all currencies should be able, especially in the early stages where they're becoming monetized, should be able to be both. But I will post a video to a longer explanation of that in the comments to this video. Next question, is the value of Bitcoin driven by the belief that it will be an official or widely accepted currency? Possibly, but it doesn't have to be. People like Michael Saylor do not believe Bitcoin will ever be used as a currency, and that instead it will be a store of value, and that people will convert it to a local currency before they spend it. So they will spend it, they will save in Bitcoin, but spend in, let's say, US dollars. The same way people, for example, in Venezuela might spend in the Bolivian bolivar, but they would never save in that currency because it devalues too fast. So they save in perhaps US dollars, they spend Bolivian bolivar. So people like Michael Saylor think Bitcoin never has to be an official currency or even widely used as a currency in order to support the store of value functions of money without actually being a medium of exchange as it relates to money. I personally think it's going to be both. I think it's going to ultimately take over all functions of money for the entire world. But even Michael Saylor, who thinks it's more of a store of value as opposed to a currency, he's got price forecasts for Bitcoin on the low end of 3 million, on the medium of 13 million, and on the high end of, I believe, it's either 43, 47, 49 million. It's over 40 million. And that's without it being a currency. So no, it does not need to be an official currency to be widely used. Third question, if at some point the belief that Bitcoin will become an official currency is replaced with doubt, then won't its value drop? Well, the vast majority of a currency's value is its store of value properties. The medium of exchange value of a currency is quite low compared to its store of value properties. Because, as I put in a prior video, the vast majority of time, money is just sitting there. Even if you do 5 transactions a day, you are sitting on your money 99.9% of the time and spending it maybe 0.1% of the time. So the vast majority of any money's value is in its store of value properties, not in its medium of exchange properties. So yes, if it becomes clear that it will never be a medium of exchange and it will never be a currency that is used on a day-to-day basis to buy stuff, at that point, yes, it will be, let's call it 10% or 20% less valuable, but as compared to the store of value properties, which likely make it valuable to the tune of millions of dollars per Bitcoin, the sort of medium of exchange function is just a very small percent of the pie. All right, question 4, what about regulatory concerns? The incoming administration certainly seems friendly, but who knows about the next and the next and the next? Well, I would point out that Bitcoin is 16 years old. The easiest time to kill it would be in the cradle of its infancy. And Bitcoin has already lived through 4 years of Barack Obama, 4 years of Donald Trump, 4 years of Joe Biden, and now we're on to 4 years of Donald Trump again. So Bitcoin's already lived through a whole lot of, change in political regimes, including in the very early days. So I will also link to a video in the comments with additional detail about that one specifically. And number 5, and with favorable regulations, will we see another cryptocurrency that's better than Bitcoin? No. The answer is no. Currency needs to be an asset without an issuer, and it's very valuable if you don't know who created it. It has to be decentralized. And at this point, perhaps in the first few years of Bitcoin, it would have been possible for some other currency to bump Bitcoin aside. But at this point, that would be, I'm going to go ahead and say, virtually impossible. Bitcoin has a massive network of computers that are auditing and securing the Bitcoin network. That's virtually impossible to replicate. It also has the anonymous creation, which again, you could never in the year 2024 invent a cryptocurrency that anonymously anymore. That was only possible because it was the very first one and because nobody was paying attention. That is just not possible in today's world for somebody to invent and release a cryptocurrency to the world. And for all the reasons I've talked about in other videos before, unlike Facebook and MySpace, you can't have an account on both in that you can with Facebook and MySpace, but you can't with money. Your money cannot be represented in two forms simultaneously, which means the adoption of another cryptocurrency is not as simple as somebody saying, hey, I have a Facebook account or I have a MySpace account. I'm going to sign up for Facebook and just see which one I like better. In the case of money, you have to convert the old money to the new money. So it's a very painful switching process, which is likely to happen in a world where you're switching from fiat currency that is, quickly losing value to Bitcoin, but it is not likely to happen in a world where Bitcoin is something is challenging Bitcoin. So 20,000 other cryptocurrencies have been invented in the last 16 years. 0 of them have given Bitcoin a serious run for its money. Bitcoin is dominant in every conceivable way, and for a bunch of technical reasons, it would be very easy to hack a new cryptocurrency if it came online, because someone could hack it by moving just a small part of the computational power that is securing and auditing Bitcoin over to a different cryptocurrency, which you can't do it with Bitcoin because Bitcoin has such a vast amount of electricity use and computational power behind it that it's not like you can draw from the ocean to, the example would be Bitcoin is the ocean and a new cryptocurrency would be a tiny little lake or a little pond. And you can flood that pond with the ocean water, but you can't flood the ocean because the ocean is the biggest body of water on Earth. That's the way Bitcoin works. So anyway, so those are the highlights. I will post some links in the comments with longer answers to some of these specific questions. Hopefully I'll do that tonight, if not tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Have a good night. Bye.